The party is 113 years old, and we're one of the oldest and parties who have been working most strongly. We have now about 100,000 members, and the background for us is that we are from the rural areas, so the regions are for us strong. So the agricultural questions and how the people are living everywhere in Finland. So that's the background of our party, basically. About the upcoming elections, well, we are facing the national elections just in these days, and we are, of course, not knowing what the results will come. But of course, it's a game changer that it's not going to be any one big party at all anymore in Finland in these days. So in that way, it will be quite interesting. But other way, of course, 4 years ago, Finland wasn't doing so well. So we have been, as a Prime Minister party, we have been doing our best, and of course, some of the people are feeling that the solutions that we have made, they have been quite hard and difficult, and so in that way that we are facing some difficulties to gain the support from the voters again in these elections. Well, we are trying to focus on the actions for Finland. So 4 years ago we promised to fix the Finland, basically. So make Finland better again, and make the economy work well again. So in these elections we are focusing on that we want to make that families are in better position, and they will be noticed in a better way, and that the families are able to make decisions as they want to make in their for what's best for them. And of course, the environmental questions, they are one of the most important things, and I think in the whole wide world in these days. But we are, of course, trying to continue that good work that we have been doing in the latest years in Finland. Yeah, of course. In the background, that's basically our election platform. So that's the way how we presented our election platform. So basically, all of the road signs were established in different meetings and different happenings around Finland about, and there are topics that about families, about environmental questions, about safety, and also for the families. And also the growth of how to growth the support Finland more from the education. Yeah. Well, normally in Finland we have that party that is the biggest party. The chairman of that party will be the negotiator to trying to get the right ground for the government. And of course, it depends about how many persons we will get in the parliament, and how many parliamentary person we will have in the next years. So that's the main thing about. But even more than how big support we will get, it's more about that what are the topics in the governmental program. There is also always small changes, and of course I think we are now facing the situation that we have had long time for that kind of situation, that there was 3 big parties, and the Centre Party was one of the big parties. Now we are having also two more about the bigger parties, so we are now like 5 mid-size parties. So it will be changing a lot. The smaller parties, they have important role, and of course they are more maybe focused on only one topic, but of course they are important part and important role for the government to form the governments in the future, and they have been. So our relations have been good always with all the small parties. Of course, the thoughts and ideas might be a little bit different, but the government, it's the way to find the solution that we are facing, making the Finland better again. But how it's the question. So far we have found the solution always. Reforming those persons who are not maybe feeling that the party that they are a member isn't doing those things that they see that the party should do, or they aren't getting the support from the party. They might be reforming new parties, But the question is about on the time, how long it will be taking that the new parties will be gaining enough support and will be enough visible. So I think that kind of movements have been in Finland all the time, but for last 10 years there haven't been any smaller parties would have been coming inside of the bigger party or combining with others. Yeah. From actually my path to the party, it has come from the youth organization. That's my path. The youth organization is a strong part about the parties in general. It's that all the under 30 years old members are able to participate also in the youth work, and that's a way to learn more about how to make politics and how to be a politician, and it's active everywhere in Finland. Roughly, it's about 6,000 youngsters who are members in the youth organization. It's one of the biggest and political youth organizations in Finland. Yeah. Basically everywhere there is very active cooperation and going on also in Helsinki and the different bigger cities. But of course, I think they all support the common ground about and the common idea about that also the questions about the whole Finland are more important for them. But it's like one of the key issues for them is of course that they want to be also not in the same line with the party all the time, so they have different opinions and they are strongly and very bravely keeping those opinions also out. They are most interesting. They are the voice of the environmental change, and of course the youth issues in general. They don't discuss only about the issues that are important for youth. They are even elder people, example that how the support so that we are able to have our like a pension system working all the way, even for the upcoming persons. It's one of the key issues. But youth issues, youth topics, so they are the most important for them. But of course, environmental questions, right for the animal rights, so on, and human rights. So they are very strong on those topics. Actually, I don't remember the exact number. We have a little bit over 200 candidates and I think it was more than 10% of them. So it should be about 25. So 20, 25, 30. Yeah. But basically, when Finland has divided into different voting regions, we have young candidates in every region. So that's one of the main things that we have. Future decision makers in every region and every place. Yeah. We have had a big number of famous politicians and of course, if you're looking for the history, Urho Kalvi Kekkonen was the longest, the president who has been in power for the longest, almost over 30 years. He was the president of Finland from the 60s, 70s, and all the way to the beginning of the 80s. So he is one of the strong persons and strong politicians in the history. Nowadays, after the millennium, we have had totally 4 different prime ministers, and also in that way it's one of the most interesting is that the first 2 female prime ministers are from our party. So Anneli Jäätteenmäki and Mari Kiviniemi for the first female prime ministers. But in these days, I think Matti Vanhanen is still. He was a prime minister for 7 years. So he is running to the parliament again. So he is well known, and also the Olli Rehn, who was a commissioner in the Euro Parliament. So he is internationally really well known. Yeah, you are raising exactly the right topic. That's one of even the voting rates. They are quite stable in the parliament elections and the president elections. I think when about 70% of the people are voting, that's quite numbers. The lowest are in the Euro Parliament elections. Only 40% of the Finns are. So I think this is also correlating about that people are voting on those topics that they feel familiar. And for young people, I think the biggest problem is that they aren't familiar about politics. And that's the reason that they don't know why to vote if they don't know how it influences about their lives. So that's a big question, and from our point, we are trying to do our best. Our research are limited, but to reach new persons who will be interested to participate in politics directly. But also, I think we should have more discussion about that how the schools should focus on those topics about that to reach and learn that teach the young people about that how to participate and what's the role about the political parties and in generally. So I think it's like a little bit like red cloth already. So that schools are now speaking even too neutral way about that. So but. Of course, the elections are always the best way to reach new people. I wouldn't say that it failed. That it didn't fail. It was it was no. It was the time limit. So it was so the time limit was to 2 years. So that was the whole experiment was about that they will experiment for 2 years about how the basic income will influence about how the people are. It didn't fail because of course we have to be brave enough to have experiences in different ways. And one of the main topics about basic income is that of course will it support people to participate in working life and make people to work more easily. That's one of the topics. In that way, the experiment didn't get any positive results. The results were quite neutral. But the question about how the people were feeling, they were more happy. Those persons who were participating in the experiment about basic income, they were more happy, and that's something that we just can't value enough about that the people are more happy when we make that kind of changes. So that way, I have really good feelings about the experiment, even it wasn't showing so good results that some people were waiting maybe. But if the people are really feeling more happy, that it's something that we have to try to alter that. I think that's the main thing for the politics and political doing is that to make people more happy and feeling more better. As the Finnish people are getting more older and older, we are facing a huge problem about the social and the healthcare problems. Finland has been trying to find the solution over 10 years already, and the strongest trial to find the solution was made in this parliament season, where it was looking really huge change, and we need that because other way we will be facing that our budget, national budget, doesn't be enough. So we need more wider shoulders for the support in that way. It was really sad to face the reality that the time was running out. So basically, 4 years when making so huge change, it was just too short time for that. So hopefully the new government will be taking the best parts from the reform and try to find the solution as soon as possible, because we really need it because other way we'll be facing huge national budget problems in future. We are so strongly and so doing so much. Even in example of the Sweden is seen so many times as the most proactive country as in fighting against the environmental work, but actually we are doing more than them, and our climate minister Kimmo Tiilikainen has been doing really good work. The question about the facing the Greens question and our parties, we are looking for the same goal in every way, but it's about that should we just keep the forest as it is, or should we use the forest in that way that also our national that the persons who are working are able to get more salary from the forest. So that's basically the biggest question. We have been originally from the history about the first products that Finland was producing and exporting out they are all from the forest. For first 100 years, only forest productions were, and also that the paper industry was so. So we shouldn't forget the history and about the possibilities to use the forest as an income also for the nation. So that's the biggest biggest question. But of course there is when our background is strong in the rural areas and so many people in the rural areas are getting their salary from growing food and from the forest. So of course we want to make sure that they are seeing the future also bright. Yeah, we have built a system that people are able to give their opinions and support those opinions, and it will be like a opening speech for the parliament about the question about there has been big number of new topics that have come from the citizens about that we should make a new legislation and change our legislation, but only a couple of them have been continued in the final end, and that has been big problem. So and about generally about the animal rights and those questions, I think they are the big question about in future about and how we should. I think. Well, from our party point, it's that less is better, but the quality is more important. So we are trying to support the ways that the meat that people are eating, that it will be better quality, but not so big numbers.